Hey, South Campus students. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a good one so far. Last week, we kicked off a new series for our high school students called To Be Honest, I'm Feeling. We're taking the next few weeks to really unpack and look at our emotions. How do we handle them? What do we do when we have negative emotions? How do we handle them? What does the Bible have to say about them even? If I'm honest, when I have negative emotions, I oftentimes tend to move away from God, not closer to God. When I feel frustrated, angry, agitated, that's not my high points in my walks with Jesus typically. I'm typically wanting to retreat and run away from God when those moments happen. But if you have a Bible, open up to Psalm 73. Psalm 73 is a passage we're going to unpack. And so as you're turning there, I want you to turn there. And in fact, before you continue the video, I want you to hit pause and take a moment to read Psalm 73. So take a moment right now. Once you turn to Psalm 73, hit pause, read through it once, and then come back and hit play. I'll give you a few seconds. Awesome. Welcome back. So Psalm 73, hopefully you read it. It's really great. To me, this is a passage that brought me so much encouragement during a really tough season when I felt lots of negative emotions in my life. And so you read quickly on that there's a guy named Asaph, that's who has written this psalm, and he wrestles with something at the very beginning. In verse 3, he talks about the fact that he is envious and jealous, really, when he sees wicked people prospering. And then he's got 10 or 12 verses where he just unpacks this. He unpacks the fact that he sees wicked people getting away with doing evil stuff, right? He sees that people who are doing wicked things aren't being punished for what they're doing. I think it's easy to look around the world today and see similar things. We see people who aren't living for God, who aren't walking in a relationship with Jesus, who are far from God and do foolish and stupid things left and right, don't seem to really have consequences for their actions all the time. And oftentimes it can make us feel jealous, make us feel frustrated, make us look at what we're doing and say, why am I even following Jesus? Why am I even trying to pursue living a godly and righteous life? And that's exactly what Asaph says here, right? In verse 13, he says, all in vain have I kept my heart clean and washed my hands in innocence. For all the day long I have been stricken and rebuked every morning. If I had said, I will speak thus. And so he gets to this point where he's admitting that he kind of is wrestling with the fact that, man, I'm pursuing a life with God. I'm pursuing a relationship with God, and it doesn't seem to be paying off. If we're honest, these are some pretty dark emotions. These are some pretty tough emotions. But the beauty of this is he's taking them to the Lord. He's taking these thoughts and feelings, and he's talking to God about them. All of this, he's confessing to God as he writes this. He even gets to the point where, so after verse 15 is kind of the turning point, right? Where he realizes he enters the sanctuary of the Lord. He enters the Lord's rest. He pursues God, right? Verse 17, he takes it to God. He thought all of these were a wearisome task to understand, right? Until he went into the sanctuary of God. And then he discerned their end. Right? In his walk with the Lord, he was given clarity and discernment on where wicked people actually end up, what is actually in store for people who pursue wickedness. And it doesn't look good, right? But then he talks and encourages us as believers, right? Even when verse 21, when his soul was embittered and when his heart was pricked, he was brutish and ignorant, is what it describes him as. He was like a beast towards God. I was a beast towards you. The first couple times I read this, I was like, oh man, what does it look like to look like a beast towards God? The picture I get when I read that is sort of like a bull in a china shop. He approaches God and he's just frustrated and he's angry. The good news is the rest of this passage isn't about how God rebukes him for being angry. God doesn't yell at him, and God's also not shocked by the fact that Asaph is frustrated and he's jealous and he's bringing that to the Lord. Right? Verse 23, nevertheless, I am continually with you. You hold me by my right hand, you guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will receive me to glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Guys, the picture we see in this is Asaph taking his anger, his frustration, his jealousy, and taking it to God. Struggles, sin and all, right? He's like a brutish beast to God. He's venting to God. He's frustrated. He's angry. But we don't see God rebuke him. We don't see God being frustrated with him. He's patient with Asaph. The picture I get when it describes God here in this situation is the way that I have to be with my kids. Y'all know Harper and Riley, my daughters, are 3 years old. They have temper tantrums all the time. It wouldn't bode well for me if in their temper tantrum, I had a temper tantrum right back. It wouldn't be helpful if in a situation where they're coming to me and fall on the floor, angry, frustrated, kicking and screaming, if I dropped on the floor and started kicking and screaming as well. No, the best thing I can be for them during that time is calm, patient, loving, sit down on the floor, hold my daughters, tell them I love them, tell them everything is going to be okay. Be a source of peace and calm to them over and over again. And it's amazing. It's amazing when I do that, how that calms them down. I picture God doing this with Asaph. So think about that today. Reflect on this picture of God when we're angry, when we're frustrated, and how we can take those emotions and those thoughts and feelings to God. And he's not going to rebuke us. He's not going to be shocked. He's not going to sit back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you feel that way. He knows the words that are going to come out of our mouth before they even come out of our mouth. So what are you feeling today? Have you taken that to the Lord? What frustrations, what anxieties, what fears do you have? Have you brought them to God? Have you presented them to the Lord? I want to encourage you to do that today. I want to encourage you to confess, to share, to be honest, and to be bold like Asaph was. And watch God gently hold you and gently care for you and tell you, I'm right here with you. You don't have to chase me down. I'm right next to you. Students, we love you. We hope that Psalm 73 encourages you today. And please tune in on Sunday night for Zoom this week, both middle school and high school. We've got some great content for y'all we're going to talk about this week. And we love you guys. If you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to reach out. Take care and have a blessed weekend. See you guys later.